Hi there, my name's Ronel Shaw. I'm a songwriter, composer, music producer, and you are with me right now at the South Bank. Can you see? I am an acting musician in the show Wuthering Heights. If you don't know what that means, it means that you are primarily a musician, but instead of being in the pit, you are on stage dressed as a character, but you are still performing as a musician or whatever you play or do. So I like that idea, and I was really interested in exploring that more. I got offered a job in the West End as an acting musician, and naturally I jumped at it. So my first West End show was Brief Encounter, which was amazing. I had so much fun. I got to play guitar, double bass, percussion, the melodica, and I really gained a lot from that. So I decided that I'm going to focus on taking jobs that are more acting musician based. I've been able to carve out a very interesting space for myself in the theatre world. I've connected with some really amazing people over the years, and I just thought, hey, why don't you share some of your experiences and the things you've learned with everybody else? So let's go. Learn to sight read. Yes, there are gigs that you don't have to sight read on, and there'll always be things where you'll get away with, your ears doing what you need to, whether you're a guitarist or a piano player. I do that a lot because I play bass and upright bass and guitar. But there will come a time where sight reading will be needed. So it may not be for everything you do, but just have it in the bag and start simple. Start with maybe just rhythm if that's easier, and then start with melody and then work on harmony and just build it naturally. Don't think you have to take it all on. Take it one step at a time, but get your sight reading together. It will be really helpful. Band etiquette, so important. It's basically getting to know how the band move and sway and groove together, really knowing how to lock in with the drummer, making sure you're giving the keys player or guitarist or horn section or wind section the information you need to give them, depending on your instrumental role, of course. But more importantly, just feeling like a band. I think that's so important just in music in general. You can always tell when people have been playing together for a while because they almost know each other's skills and traits. And if you can apply that in the theatre world, the music feels so much more dynamic, it's so much more responsive, and it just gives a feeling that you can't replace. You can't practice that by yourself. You have to be sensitive to the musicians you're working with. Know your parts in relation to the band and in relation to the story that's happening on stage. So if you're playing a guitar line or a drum groove or a horn line or whatever you're doing, listen to how it connects to everything else that's going on musically, but then also pay attention to where it is in the scene that's happening and why it's happening, so that you understand what your part is doing. And I always look at music as a catalyst to the story. So you are more than likely going to be amplifying something that's happening at the time. So think about what you're amplifying. Things will not always come in a musically comfortable place. That took me a while to get my head into. I was fortunate, I started quite young. So by 18, 19, I was quite comfortable with it. But bars can end in odd places. Music can start in strange places. Sometimes you get a beat and you're in. Sometimes you may get two. Sometimes you may get a 4 count if you're lucky. What won't happen is everyone will get ready and wait for you, and there'll be a bit of a pause and then the music comes in. You really want to make sure that you get used to feeling the end of a phrase and how it can end and go into music. So it might be, and then Jimmy, I went to the shop. Ba, 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 and you're in. You learn to preempt the end of a phrase into music. Have a sound. A sound is important. Yes, you can be a bass player in a show, or you can be the bass player that gets the call because of what you bring to the table. And having a sound comes from, one, how you play, two, the instruments you buy, but it's a combination of knowing how to use the tool you have and being sensitive enough to the dynamics and traits of that tool and how you find a way to make it your own. Exercise. Exercise is important. It just is. You're on stage, you need to warm up, you need to warm down. Whether you're sitting down for the whole show or you're up and doing bits and pieces, it's good to make sure you keep your body moving. For me, I do martial arts, so I practice Tai Chi and I practice Wing Chun. I do them pretty much every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I try and get an hour in, that's more helpful. But if I can't practice at home, I'll come into the theatre early and I'll work on some bits here. It's just about keeping your body moving. For the show I'm in right now, it's 2.5 hours long, so I'm sitting down quite a bit. So I do a good warm up, I do a good warm down. Take care of your hands, make sure you stretch, be very particular with your technique, and that is how you last a long time in this gig. You know, this industry isn't easy, but if you work on your craft, practice, if you give yourself your own time, be it exercise or meditation or whatever works for you, and if you just genuinely be a nice person and get to know people and, you know, just be a bit human, you'll have a good time doing theatre. I love it. I've been able to do so much already. I have so much more coming. And if you have any questions, like I've said before, put them in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as possible.